Welcome to Straits Talk, a podcast by Straits Interactive, where we talk about value, risks and constraints of data protection, data governance and generative AI. I'm tech writer Grace Chen, and with me are two friends, Kevin Shepherdson, founder and CEO of Straits Interactive, and Alvin, co-founder of Straits Interactive. They have been my friends for a long time. And coming to AI, I've been using ChatGPT, the free one, of course. But I think there are some concerns with using the free GPT. And one of those concerns is that we are uploading too much of our proprietary information, which can be used for training by the GPT.
Yeah.
What happens then?
Now, before we elaborate, I want to tell you how big this problem is. I have been going through different countries, and even in Singapore, together with Alvin, we've done many events. And at every event, we will do a survey. And in that survey, we will actually ask the audience, which is obviously made up of corporate folks, whether they use ChatGPT. And surprisingly, as unsurprisingly, everyone says they actually do it. Yeah, so about 70% of them. And then we ask the next question. So, okay, you're using ChatGPT. What version are you using? Is it corporate, right? Or the free version? And you can guess majority of them are using the free version, right? And then we did another survey with SMEs, which got us concerned because we actually asked them that if you are using a free version of ChatGPT, how are you governing it? And a majority of them have said they have no plans to do so because some of them are not even aware. And I've done this survey in many countries, in Philippines, in Taiwan, in Singapore, and they're all about the same. So this is the magnitude of the problem, right? What people don't realize is that while you are having lots of fun with ChatGPT, you have to remember that your conversational history might contain lots of proprietary, confidential information, personal data.
Can you give an example?
Okay, so let me talk about the fact that you get excited. You want to do a business proposal, of a business idea that you have, right? So you put in all of the details and you ask ChatGPT to develop a business proposal for you. Right. Now, as it comes out, you have to remember that a copy of the conversation is actually at the stored at GPT, and it's even the worst problem if you are using a dedicated Gen AI or chatbot, because the same developer would be able to see your entire conversation. Yeah, and let me just add on to what we call inference. Now, if we were to compare you doing a Google search on the term cancer, so what can you infer when you type the term cancer in Google search?
I'm interested in the topic because obviously someone related to me is suffering from the disease, or one of my friends is suffering from the disease, right? So that's why I'm searching for the topic.
So that's what we can infer. But if you think about the fact that when you do a chat and the entire conversation is being recorded, and if I were to talk about cancer, I wouldn't just be inferring, I will be profiling that person, because I would know the prescription, I would know the doctor the person goes to, because the entire conversation will give so much insights. Yeah. Now imagine when we talk about your own company proprietary information. Yeah, it's not just searching for a topic. Every single detail is now contained in your prompts, or in this case, the entire conversation.
Because you want the outcome, right? To be the outcome that you want, which is a business plan, which is a strategy for something. So you need to put in the information in order to get that outcome. And that's the reason why you've got the proprietary information.
And we get lost, right? And we're so excited, forgetting that you should be putting some anonymized information, and then later you can then augment it with real information. But people forget. What do you think of it?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at just a couple of weeks ago, there was such a breach when somebody woke up the next day, saw a chat history of somebody talking to a pharmaceutical company, entering very personal data, right? Asking for help, and then entering his personal details and all that. And that can happen. See,
Right.
It's not his chat. Somehow it got swapped, right? And that was personal data involved, right? And it's frightening, of course, when it made the news. And right now, in this GPTs that people are uploading things, and what you mentioned, Bard itself recently has enabled for you to read your emails, read a calendar.
Right.
Why? Because you want answer tailored to your things, right? So now you can read that to give you the answer. But you gave it consent, go read my emails and stuff, and then go find this thing. So what happens? Does it get indexed or not? Question mark, right? Because you have already given permission, so you got to read further. What happens when you actually crawl through all your emails and stuff?
So what you're now saying, just sum up for you, there's a leakage of your IP.
Yep.
There's leakage of proprietary information. There's leakage of personal data.
Yep.
So that's what's happening when people are using the free version of ChatGPT or a variant of some kind of Gen AI software.
So that means I must go for a company, if they want to use GPT, then they have to use the enterprise version, which is more secure.
Yeah. I just want to comment what Alvin said about the GPT assistant. So everyone's excited because now you're democratizing the use of chatbots, right? But if you go inside the software, by default, there's a button that says train the model. Now, I can understand where OpenAI is coming from in terms of their good intention. But think about the fact that as everyone starts to design their own AI assistant, you just gave OpenAI all the different methodologies, step-by-step approaches, right? Which some of them are really proprietary, some of them are your own IP. And a lot of developers are very hungry to develop their own application. And we know generative AI is part of machine learning. Machine learning is dependent on data, right? So this is something that I think companies tend to forget and I think we also need to remind our audience here that it's not just training the model, but also the leakage of the data, because you might want to upload the PDF file and get it to summarize for you. You might want
your company confidential
financial reports and all that is now in someone else's server. So as you rightly pointed out, you need some kind of enterprise version, which is why we created our Capabara platform. And if you are aware what the Capabara platform is, we have a version of a ChatGPT or a chatbot. But what we have done is we make sure that the data doesn't train the model. That's number one. Number two, what we did was we created a Capabara version we call the knowledge system, where you can upload your own content safely and securely. And that's with the help of Microsoft. We use the Microsoft Azure OpenAI service, which I like to end off by telling you that as we progress with the whole world of ChatGPT, people don't just want the information from ChatGPT. They want their own knowledge assets, which we see is the next stage of growth. What do you think?
Yeah, and right now you see what companies are being valued and where the money is flowing. Is in the sector that we are in. We see two big companies, K-Stacks and Harvey.ai, both now worth 600 to 700.
And they are legal companies.
They are actually legal tech. They're not legal companies at all.
Okay, they're legal tech.
Yeah, newish, 2 years old.
Okay.
Then work with the legal companies to look at, okay, what's the problem? They're handling a lot of information.
Okay.
They're very sensitive about their information. For these guys, say, okay, I got AI. Okay. And then I can index this for you. And then K-Stack, for example, has something called co-counsel. Harvey.ai, they work with Alvin, Overy, PwC. They say, okay, we can index all these things and then allow it to be a virtual collaborator we mentioned earlier on.
Right.
And lo and behold, K-Stacks was bought by Reuters for $600 million.
Okay.
Right? So you can see what you're talking about, the trend of people wanting their custom knowledge base for an AI to be a query and make sense of it, so it's faster for you to actually get an answer. The whole point is not about search. People want an answer when they're searching something.
Yeah.
If the LLM or whatever chatbot you have can behave like a human being, here, Grace, this is what we got, and then the summary of it is this, and then you can have the citation to the documents. Fantastic. Rather, I ask you, okay, Grace, this are the 5 documents, you go read yourself, right?
So when you build your own custom set, how difficult or how easy is it?
Yeah. I must admit that it will be every company's ambition to basically build your own, but you might not have the expertise, right? So, but we had the ambition that since we had so much content being in the world of data protection for more than 10 years, Alvin and I discussed and said, what if we introduce the world's first or the region's first AI data protection officer? And that means downloading all of the legal content and adding our own content to it. And as you know, I wrote a book called 99 Privacy Breaches. So instead of passing it over to a developer to create that app for us, we decided to create our own platform.
Right.
And this is where Microsoft actually came in and they said, like, why do you, they recommended their developer to help us to build that platform. So instead of just building the AI DPO assistant, we actually built something that became our product called the Capabara Knowledge System.
Right.
And to answer your question, instead of just doing the actual development, we created a whole platform to allow us to load the content and do what is called the vectorization, the word embeddings, the semantical meanings, and therefore giving us the ability to chat with the content.
Right.
So I guess in simple terms, instead of building AI assistant, or should I say a DPO, AI DPO assistant, we decided to create a whole platform that can enable anyone. Yeah, because
kind of assistant,
if you look at the enterprise version, some of the versions here, you can really load in a couple of files, right? 100 and all of the other stuff here. But you would probably want to have a platform where you can load in thousands, hundreds of thousands of content. And having said that, I'd like to share a very interesting case that I was just experienced. So we were actually going to do a beta test with a law firm. And the law firm said, look, I've got a bunch of labor laws. And when the client asks for query, I want to save time, right? I think Alvin talked about querying that data, your custom data set. So I was only expecting 100 documents. And what happened was the client sent me close to 8,000 documents. And this is a real life case, right? Because the point here is that companies have got lots and lots of content. Anyway, as it turned out, we uploaded the content and then we created the chatbot. We wrote it with our capability tools using Capabara. And in 50 seconds, it generated the answer. Now, what we didn't know is that this law firm, FMH Law, what they did was they also timed the traditional way of doing it. Right. So they had a query and they compiled the information. It took them about 2 hours to do it. And they did, and they got the exact same answer in less than 50 seconds. Yeah. And this is, I guess, one of the benefits where we see companies moving into doing your own data set. So in my opinion, this game will not be fought in terms of technology because the technology is actually open to all. This game is about content because these companies are hungry to train their data set, and here's a chance for the companies, for example, to use our Capabara technology where just in almost instantly you could load your data, you upload your data and then write a quick chatbot to query and get the answers you want.
Right. So the game, meaning that this is the industry that you're in and how it can be a game changer, is to create your own custom data set, preferably using a enterprise version of a GPT. And that will give you the security and reassurance.
And even the accuracy, I'm sure Alvin will tell you. I mean, we talked about the hallucination and getting the wrong facts. So if you have your own custom data set, then the accuracy goes up because the data is now focused, right, on this set of data that you are training the model with.
I mean, the consideration, I would say, you rightly summarized, right? So with three parts. Number one, of course, is what infrastructure are you using? So for us, we created an enterprise version where it can run off GPT or other LLMs. And then how do you secure the container of your own data because you're uploading hundreds of thousands of documents? Yeah. The last part he mentioned is that how on earth does this understand what documents, how to query? That involves prompting, involves pre-processing. We spent hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this. It wasn't like, hey, upload here, then GPT, please give me an answer. It doesn't work like that.
Right. So that is also the creation of new kinds of jobs.
Exactly.
Right. And the mistake that people would make is you go to a developer and you ask them to develop an application around your own data set. But now you are beholden. You are now dependent on that developer because what if we want to make changes? So we decided to do it the other way around, build a platform, and you have now the power in your hands, what we call the capability tools. And it's what Alvin is saying, you just change your prompts and it talks to the data set that you have uploaded into the system.
And there you have it, for people who are listening to us, if you want to create your own custom data set, that would be the best, because you can sleep assuredly and nicely that your outcomes will not be in hallucination phase.
Exactly.
Right. Thank you for listening to us. Till then, to the next podcast of Straits Talk.